Welcome to Voice in the Wilderness. I'm Brian. Today's story is a tragedy that's happened over on Fraser Island, or now known as Gari. Now, Gari or Fraser Island is one of Australia's most spectacular wild places. It's a World Heritage listed for its sand dunes, its rainforests and its long beaches. But it's also a home to a wild dog, the dingo, known locally in Butchulla language, which is the local First Nations people, as Wangari. Now, these animals have roamed this island for thousands of years, long before any of us ever set foot there. Now, in January 2026, a tragedy shocked the world. A 19-year-old Canadian tourist, Piper James, was found dead on a stretch of beach on Gari, her body surrounded by a pack of dingoes. Now, an autopsy has since shown that Piper most likely died by drowning, with injuries consistent with dingo bites. But those bites were not likely, they believe, to be the direct cause of her death. Despite this, though, the Queensland government made a dramatic decision. 6 dingoes linked to the scene were euthanised, with plans for more to be euthanised. Officials called it necessary for public safety. Okay, let's set the record straight. Dingoes are wild animals. They're not pets. And here's what many people still don't seem to understand. Dingoes are wild animals. They evolved here, adapted to Australia's landscapes, and behave according to instinct and survival. That's the point of the wild predator. Expecting a wild animal to act like a pet, that's like going for a swim off the Horn of Africa, believing that a great white shark will leave you absolutely alone. You don't wear fear like a shield. You respect the territory and the instinct. Now, Fraser Island's dingoes have been present for thousands of years, as I said before, older than any modern Australian settlement. The Butchulla people, the island's traditional custodians, have lived with Wangari or dingoes across generations, but it wasn't always peaceful. In 2001, a 9-year-old boy named Clinton Gage was tragically killed by dingoes on the island. That event led to earlier culls and a reassessment of how humans interact with the dingoes. From that came the Gari Dingo Management Strategy, a plan meant to conserve dingoes and reduce negative encounters with humans by discouraging feeding, securing food and educating visitors. It's simple. A wild animal that learns to expect food from humans, whether from hands or rubbish bins, will start to lose its natural fear and become dangerous. So let's be clear about this. The problem isn't dingoes. The problem is humans who don't respect our native flora and fauna here in Australia. When tourists flout the rules, they feed the wildlife, they get close or camp without proper regard, they train these animals to associate with people with food. That's not wildlife behaviour. That's conditioning. That's conditioning the animals to not do what their wildlife or what their wild nature is instilled in them. And make no mistake, that is a recipe for disaster. When animals that once avoided humans begin to approach us confidently, risk skyrockets. We see things like the attacks on people that we see from dingoes. That's why management strategies don't work unless paired with respectful behaviour. Now, this isn't new. Rangers have said for years where dingoes, conditioned to human food, lose fear, they approach campsites and put both people and the dingoes at risk. The traditional Butchulla owners are the traditional Butchulla owners are heartbroken about this. Not only by Piper's death, but by the decision to cull the dingoes without proper, or I don't know whether they had any consultation. To them, Wangari or dingoes are sacred, part of the island's heritage and spiritual balance. They unequivocally do not want dingoes blamed or vilified for what is fundamentally a human tragedy intertwined with human behaviour. They remind us that coexistence requires responsibility, not reaction, for a better way forward. If we truly care about our wild places, we must face an uncomfortable truth. Keeping wild animals, keeping them wild, means keeping humans educated and disciplined. Visitors must respect the warnings. They must never feed the dingoes. They must store food and rubbish securely. And they must understand that this is not a zoo, it's a wild place. And if they don't want to understand that, I say get rid of the tourists. Get rid of the visitors, because they're the ones who are doing the wrong thing, not the dingoes. The dingoes are doing what they're being conditioned to do. Just let them live their wild life and stop putting tourists in their backyard. Now compare it to other risks that humans accept. You don't jump off a cliff expecting a soft landing just because the view is stunning. You don't swim near shark-infested waters assuming nature will protect you. And you don't walk into the territory of a predator and expect it to step aside for you. Now, the death of Piper James is a deep tragedy. Our hearts go out to her family, our prayers go out to her family and friends. But killing dingoes isn't justice, it's avoidance. The real issue isn't that Wangari are dangerous, it's that humans have forgotten that wild places and wild animals follow their own laws. And when we ignore those laws, there are consequences. So if you come across, or if you come to Gari, if you go to Fraser Island or anywhere wild, understand this. You are entering someone else's home. You must respect the rules of that home like you would any human person. If you don't, you accept the risk. Let's honour the memory of Piper by learning that by killing wildlife that did nothing more than behave like nature intended. Let's learn to respect the wildlife that is in their own natural environment, and it's us invading that environment. Thanks for watching. I have a new episode soon. This one was just a quick one I did on the run. Anyway, my friends, bless you.